We are the DFPN. Always question the answers.
No Gimmicks Podcast, and we bring it to you. Every time we turn live, and you know it's the truth. Every after show, moving down, this the time to move around. No Gimmicks Podcast is going down. Every night, every time in the ring. This is time for no gimmicks, no, we doing our thing. What's your state of mind, state of mind? Moving down a statement when we take the line. This is exactly wrestling the state design. When you see Stone Cold like me, with the stunner in the world, exactly, man, what we bring. Every night we move like Brock Lesnar, the F5, no gimmicks. We take you to your limit, what's the feeling? When we live in the air, you know we on, this the time. Guarantee we move, you know how we respond. The state is mine, the state design when we feel it. Moving down, what's the healing? No gimmicks is the feeling.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks Podcast here on the DFPN. Got a good show for you guys tonight. My co-host, the fabulous one, D Vader. What's up, buddy?
What's cracking with it, man?
Man, listen, we got some news to get on to. We got a promo we got to talk about. We got some good topics tonight, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do. So, again, one of the most anticipated moments of Cena promo. We'll cover that. Before we dive into these things, what I do want to go over is the numbers, bro. I want to jump into the numbers. So I've been deep diving. I've been keeping a close watch on what's making the most noise, right?
Right.
Because we're in this time period to where things are moving, the platforms, and there was a report came out that said that WWE's been keeping pretty much the same audience.
Yeah.
Since they moved to Netflix. The same audience that they have on USA. The numbers are starting to reflect that maybe they haven't experienced any growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You contrast that with AEW. AEW Collision has been experiencing slow growth, so is Dynamite. But we're in a period now to where the numbers are starting to reflect neither company has grown, neither audience has grown. It looks good on television when you're in the stadiums and you can see the crowd and you see them engaged. But these are your hardcore fans. These are your wrestling fans. The wrestling audience itself is not a huge audience. So my question to you: when did this change? Like when in your eyes did you see the business sort of hit this decline?
Well, I'm always going to go back to 2001 with WCW going out of business. But as a fan just watching it, it really started to kind of peak around, I would say, the summer of 2000 is when you really started to it kind of leveled out a little bit. That was during the time of the McMahon-Helmsley faction in the WWF. And at the same time, WCW had the New Blood versus Millionaires Club rivalry going on. So it was starting to taper off there. Now, I think fans started to kind of get out of it somewhat because the NWO phenomenon was over. Like that a lot of those people were watching WCW. So
right.
The decline of WCW, I think, played a role in this as well. And then moving forward, WCW goes out of business. The WWF acquires the company. They also acquire ECW a little while after that. So that's two companies that go out within a span of 2 months, something like that.
Yep.
They go out, and now you just have WWF. And then WWF presented WCW and ECW in a very unflattering way.
Yep.
And the rest is history. Then you go to the Ruthless Aggression era, and that was the era that's been built around John Cena and Randy Orton and Batista. Yep. And the Triple H Reign of Terror. All these different things happened around that time. And if you look at the numbers, the numbers for WWE TV at the time, they were still doing pretty good. They were in the 3s and 4s. But then it really tapered off. So I guess the real question is this. And this goes into the gentleman we're going to talk about his promo Monday. Did they actually grow the business during the time that John Cena was on top. Because if that was the case, why was there a decline for the TV shows week after week after week? And I also think another reason for the decline of the WWE and the wrestling audience in general as well was the brand extension. I think the brand split hurt it because when you start taking superstars from one show and put them on the other show, people may not go for that because you're trying to do that competition thing within the company, and it just doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you also have to look at also as well. There was other alternatives at the time. You had World Wrestling All Stars, which was a pay-per-view company that did wrestling pay-per-views.
Mhm.
That was basically TNA Light. A lot of those guys would go on to work for TNA,
Right.
and then Ring of Honor came after that. And throughout this entire time, the audience never grew. The audience still declined. And how many people did we have come back during that time frame? We had Bret Hart.
Right.
Bret Hart came back. We had all this different stuff come out. The Rock came back numerous times. But guess what? The numbers wasn't happening. It was diminishing returns each and every time. That's how I look at that, man.
I think you're right. I do think the business was still healthy in that time period. It wasn't as healthy as it was. It wasn't like in the stratosphere. It wasn't mainstream as it was in the 90s. You've seen it kind of fall from the mainstream, but it was still healthy enough to where you had people tune into the product, right? You still could have sort of that fanfare, have the manias, you could have the accesses, and you could still have a big turnout. It was still sort of healthy. For me, I think that period in between 2013 and 2019, like that period, it needs to be studied because that's where a lot of the bad storylines, you weren't getting as good as storylines that you were getting during those early 2000 eras. So people started leaving. People were hanging on throughout the ruthless aggression era. Once you got into the sort of PG era and that time frame on, bro, people started leaving in droves, and they haven't been back since. You lost a large chunk of crowd when you lost to WCW. When WCW left, you lost a large chunk of wrestling fans. But
Right.
I think the people that you lost were holding on in hopes that, you know, you get some good WWE wrestling, and then you hang on. And it was like by that time, it's like, dude, I'm done. Like it's burnout. I got burned out because I was just like, dude, they're not giving me nothing. And every week it's just like, when are we going to get something good? When are we going to get something good? I think that whole 2013 to 2019, up until you get AEW coming back around, like that pumped a whole bunch of excitement back into the industry. They needed that shit. Whether anybody will admit it or not, AEW at that time was sorely needed for the industry. It gave the industry a lot more new blood. But on the flip side of that, you had the people now that they were ready for AEW because they were tired of WWE. Those people are now AEW fans. Then you have the brand split people who hung on for WWE, but then NXT came around, so now they're hardcore NXT fans. Like the wrestling fan base back in those days, up until about 2013, it was wrestling fans. Like whether you liked TNA, ROH, everybody was sort of melded into this thing together. Once you get into those years and then you get AEW back, like it fractured the industry. It really did. Because you have the brand split, you had a Raw, you had a SmackDown, then you have NXT. Now they're going third brand. Then you still got TNA around. People are still tuning into it, although that crowd isn't as big as it was. People still hung around for TNA up until now, to where they're starting to climb their way back into it. People hung around this whole time, so it's fractured. And I don't know how you get that back together.
I mean, and also you have to look at that, what you're just saying here. Around the time when you and I met, there was this sort of phenomenon happening called Bullet Club.
Yep.
in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
New Japan Pro Wrestling was hot. Everybody was talking about New Japan.
Yep.
It got to the point where even WWE was taking notice at what was going on in New Japan. Bullet Club, I mean, everybody had
Yep.
T-shirt. It was they brought back the Too Sweet and the Cross Shop. They brought this stuff back, and even WWE had to try to do their little cease and desist operations there, trying to what did they try to do? They tried to trademark the Turkish Wolf, the Too Sweet.
Yep.
They tried to do all that shit and found that they could not do it. And as soon as AEW happened, we noticed that the decline of New Japan. Because New Japan lost a lot of their heavy hitters, and they really haven't ever kind of got that back. I mean, I don't even know if Bullet Club is even still around anymore. Because that's
not, well, they are, but there is nothing like it was.
Exactly, and that was a big part of that. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at WWE's business. I mean, one of the last big things they did, honestly, was Sting coming into the company in 2014. That was one of the last big things that they did there. But again, I mean, when I look back at the era of the Authority, which was just my god awful TV. It was a lot of bad stuff. When AEW came in, like you said, it was sorely needed, and I enjoyed, I would say, the first year and a half of Dynamite. I thought they were doing a pretty good job over there with the show, and then somewhere they fell off. I understand that they're trying to get back to what they were, and it's going to be it's not going to be an overnight process.
Nope.
And Vince Russo said this many times when he used to work for WCW. When he went there, WCW expected a 4.0 rating overnight, and he says that's not going to happen because you have ran the fans off to the point where you got to try to bring those fans back. It's not going to happen overnight for AEW. Right. It's not going to happen over a week. It's going to take time for the word of mouth to get out there about what they're doing and go from there. The little stuff they did last night, for what I understand with John Moxley, I haven't seen it. I just read about it. That's not really good. It's not good business because people are ragging on that and talking about how it was not a good spot. So I don't know. I mean, we've seen worse,
right?
You know, in the WWF, we saw, the first Hell in a Cell match. We saw Mick Foley do a lot of crazy shit. We saw Mick Foley, get his nose broken on WWE Saturday Night back in the day with Vader. We saw what happened with his ear.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen some pretty drastic stuff. So I don't know if people are too sensitive nowadays to shit. I don't know. If people are complaining about that, you would never be able to watch the Attitude Era.
Yeah. You don't tune in. But I'll say this about that spot because I saw it. It was a brutal spot. I'm not gonna lie. The visual of the bat stuck in his back and Wheeler Yuta trying to pull it out and the skin just coming with it. I was like, oh, dude. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. But I did not mind that. As crazy as that was, I didn't mind it. I was like, that's wild. People are gonna talk about it, rightfully so. It's wild. I didn't mind the spot more so than I minded him keeping the title.
Right.
That's where I was. I was like, he should not have walked out of this with that spot. He should not have walked out of this match as the champion, and he did. And that's the thing I'm talking about. So AEW does have some things to tighten up, if you will. I do like what they're doing. They did tell a story with this angle. With him and Copeland, they did tell a story with this angle. The match wasn't bad. I think it's time for Moxley to drop the title. For me personally, there's no reason he should have the title
because it's gone nowhere, bro. Exactly. What was the original plan? All it is that you got this group. You guys went from the Blackpool Combat Club to Night of the Death Riders, and you carried the title in a briefcase,
right?
Okay, what else is there? I mean, what else you got going on here? And that's not appealing to me because the entire thing we were like, okay, if you're holding the title hostage, let me tell you this real quick. Okay, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the show or not. There was a show called WMAC Masters back in the day. It used to come on Fox.
I've heard
Fox.
of it, yeah.
Okay, it was a mixed martial arts. It was a martial arts show. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the stories they had going on there was this. an organization called Jikido, which was a banned form of martial arts. They were coming into the WMAC trying to basically steal the Dragon Star, which was the top award for the fighters. And they ended up stealing it and holding it in a briefcase. And that show got canceled, unfortunately, before we actually got a conclusion of everything that was going on. That kind of reminds me of this thing with Moxley. They had it in a briefcase, and one of the infiltrators inside WMAC was the guy had the briefcase like handcuffed to his wrist, and they were about to start this whole like takeover invasion of the whole damn thing. So I'm kind of looking at this angle here, like, okay, who's behind this? Like, what is the story?
Right.
Somewhere the story got lost in translation. Is what happened.
Right.
That's what I believe.
I believe that too.
So I'm not a fan of what they're doing here. I thought it was intriguing in the beginning, but no. I think if they're gonna put the belt on someone, it has to be Swerve at this point.
I like that they are doing that match at Dynasty, because I hope that's what's gonna happen. Because Swerve is the guy to carry it. Also, I don't know if we're gonna get this, but it looks like we're working towards Athena and Mercedes Moné, and fucking absolutely that's a yes. I hope they do that at All In.
That would be good. I think that would actually draw. But it's all about, Athena's been so wrapped up with Ring of Honor for so long.
They gave us a perfect end with Mercedes versus Billy Starks last night.
Okay.
That was the end, because everybody knows Athena trained her on ROH. If you watch ROH, she's a minion in training, with Athena being the minion overlord. So with Mercedes beating Billy last night, after the match, she's like, whoever mentored you sucks. And I was like, bro, if we're going Athena versus Mercedes, buckle up and fucking take my money.
I think it'll draw.
Yes.
But I honestly think, I don't know, because like I said, you gotta rebuild Athena to the AEW audience, because they've only seen her on Ring of Honor. They haven't really seen her on AEW TV as much. I mean, you can see her when you go to a taping and they're there.
Right.
But who's really watching the Ring of Honor show? That's the whole point.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I also want to talk about real quick, real fast. I want to mention something else that was going on around the time of this decline of the business. It was the resurgence, or I should say, I can say resurgence, because it started off as a game show at first that replaced ECW. I'm referring to NXT.
Yeah.
Under the Triple H reboot of NXT, which was one of the good spots for WWE at the time.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like, now, because that NXT was so good, people considered that to be the third brand. And that one time, it was the best brand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And your stories about Vince, not, Vince being jealous of the success of NXT because it wasn't him. And then he would intentionally bury these people when they came to the main roster, which makes sense.
Yeah. Now it absolutely makes sense.
Right.
Or maybe he just saw something nobody else seen, because not a lot of these guys are they're back in the company. They got released, and a lot of them are back in the company. And not a lot of them are
I'm not gonna say anything publicly about him.
I will say.
I got no comment on it.
Me neither. Me neither. But let's jump into some WWE news, because we got an angle that we got to talk about. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. All right. John Cena's promo. Let's get into it.
Right.
He cut a 26-minute promo which is being reported as gone over time. Right.
Which played into the Jey Uso Austin Theory match, why it was so short. But go ahead.
We'll talk about that too. Yeah. So, initial thoughts. What did you think?
the initial thought was I didn't like the presentation. I didn't like it. I didn't like. I mean, yeah, he came out kind of not as enthusiastic about things, but I didn't like the fact that he was still wearing the same clothes. I understood why when he started to cut the promo and what he said about it. I got it then, but I didn't like the presentation of it at all. Now, as I've watched the promo a couple more times since then, I like the promo. I do like the promo,
Okay.
but it does not top Hogan's promo for Bash at the Beach, and it doesn't top Hogan's promo on the Nitro when he returned. And explained that he's going to wrestle the Giant and basically just talk shit about Sting, Macho Man, and WCW. So it doesn't top that at all for me. No.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I would say initially I liked the promo. I just wish, in my initial thought, I wish we got that promo immediately after the turn. Because I think it would have meant more immediately after that turn.
You know what? I
Versus-
just thought about.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just thought of something you were talking about this. You know, and Russo brought this up too. Why did he mention The Rock? Why
There
did he
may
mention
be a run.
Travis
there
Scott and that thing, that whole thing? Like that made
Yeah.
no sense. Like why did you sell out to The Rock? That's the big story. That was a big question. The Rock did the throat, slit, throat cut. Why you didn't even mention it? Like it never happened.
Right.
What's up with that?
In the moment, and this is just me, maybe I'm giving it too much grace. And in the moment, I'm like, the less you say about The Rock, the better right now. Because yes, he's totally aligned with The Rock. Does he really want you to think that? Maybe not. Because the match is against him and Cody. And maybe he doesn't want you to think about, I have The Rock in my back pocket, by the way. That could be what they're playing. Maybe I'm giving this too much grace. But me listening to that promo, I would have said he's doing this for a reason, right? He's not mentioning The Rock for a reason. But his first step in blaming the fans, initially I wasn't totally on board with that either. I was like, bro, make this about the title. And like you, I listened to it a couple of more times. My first reaction was, make this about the title. This is about you and Cody. Make this about, I know you people don't want me to win this title. I know you don't. But I'm going to do it anyway. You know why? Because that pisses you off. And
No,
for 20, that's me. That's me. It's a preference thing for me.
It makes no sense though. Let me tell you why it makes no sense. Okay, if this promo would have been better had it been done 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
But in saying that, for John Cena to say storyline wise, okay, I want to win this title because I know it would pitch people off. I don't think so, because the reaction at the Royal Rumble was people wanted him to win. They actually thought John was going to win at the Rumble. So they would have no problem with him would have no problem necessarily with him winning it. And now you're seeing after Jey Uso won, who I think, deserved to win, but you're seeing it now that he won. And look at the backlash of that. Then look at the reaction Cena got when he won the Chamber. People were down with it. So to say that, okay, people wouldn't want you to win 17, it's your last year, your last run. Yeah, people are going to be rooting for you to win that number 17 to break Ric Flair's record. So that right there doesn't make sense. That's just me.
Bear with me.
Yeah.
And this is in his promo, because even he acknowledged the fact. He's like, my story changed. And all you talk about is, what do I get? What do I get? If I come back and I go, and this is why I say it should have been about the title, because in the promo, he's saying, what do I get? My story changed. Maybe I was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. I didn't, but what do I get from you, John Cena? Are you going to go and win the Elimination Chamber? What do I get? And are you going to win this 17th championship? Yeah, people are on board with it, but he's not doing it on their terms. That's what that promo was about. It was a big middle finger to everybody. It's like, you want this from me, but fuck you. I'm gonna do this the way I want to. Like you want me to be the guy, but fuck you. You know why? Because you guys are already, and he alluded to this too. You are already on board with Cody. So if Cody wins, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna win.
But are they on board with Cody?
No, because the whole theme of it, even I said this. I want Cody to turn heel. So
we all did,
right? I want Cody to turn heel. But Cena's over here saying, fuck y'all. I don't care what y'all want. That's the promo, essentially, which is why I ended up liking it. Because listening to it again, I'm like, I want this to be about the title. But then he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna do this shit on my terms. You want me to be the good guy? I'm not gonna be the fucking good guy.
But he said also that, you know, I'm not gonna you get no new gear. I don't dress like you, you dress like me. Here's the thing though. The hypocrisy of that statement is he said
it's
that
crazy.
he went and, you know, became something to get over with people. So basically you started dressing like that originally during the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yep.
So this isn't you either. It's what you're basically saying. That's why I think Cody says, and which now I believe John Cena might actually end up changing his look a little bit. Cody says, go find who John Cena is and not this whiny bitch. Where's the guy that's on this t-shirt here? So I think at that point, Cena is like, okay, maybe this ain't work. Because Cena did an interview with Chris Van Vliet talking about the original heel turn process. Like he had all new gear made.
Yeah, he
recorded a whole new song. It was all in like, and I think that we might now see that. I think maybe I'm just speculating here. This is just speculation. I think we may be seeing the last of John Cena with the jorts. I think he might end up changing the presentation. I think he should change the presentation. I don't want to see John Cena as a heel, even though he says, I'm not a heel, I'm not a babyface, I'm a human. No, you're a fucking heel. Because if you're out there knocking the fans, you're a fucking heel. Period. That's just the way it goes. It's wrestling 101. So I think we're going to see something different from John. Hopefully we will. But, and we talked about this privately. I'm going to put it out here right now, especially here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for the subscriptions, by the way. Here's the thing. If it was me that was writing this story, I would have still done the whole The Rock Wants Your Soul deal with Cody Rhodes. But I would have done it later on. I would have had it building to WrestleMania. What's Cody going to do? And then when Cody gets to Mania, you have The Rock come down to the ring, and it's going to act like he's going to assist Cody, but he's not there to assist Cody. Cody turns him down, and it's Cena who The Rock helps. Cena turns heel at that point. He turns heel at WrestleMania, walks out, The Rock sells his soul. He gets the championship number 17. People are left, like, what the hell just happened? Then you go into the next night, after WrestleMania, the Raw after Mania. That's when Cena delivers a promo we saw Monday in the ring. And he tells it like it is, how he feels. This is who I am. This is John Cena. That's what I would have done. It just seems like the Cody, I want your soul thing came out of left field. Like that was just something like The Rock thought of. And I'm like, I want to go on TV and do it because there was no build up to it. There was no reason why this would have been happening, especially with all the backstage shit that we saw at the Ride Netflix. He's up there sharing, tequila with Cody and everything, y'all breaking kayfabe. Like, it makes no sense. That's the shit that like drives me wild. You didn't see that. You didn't see the inner plannings of the NWO. You didn't see Hulk Hogan talking to Hall and Nash backstage about, well, this is what we're going to do. And you didn't see any of that. The only appearance you saw with Hogan was at Bash at the Beach, and then he made another appearance on Nitro, and you didn't see Hogan again unless it was NWO promo commercials. You didn't see Hogan again until Sturgis at Hog Wild. That's when you saw him. So I just think the whole process here, I honestly think, and this is just me speculating, I think this is over Triple H's head. I don't think Triple H has any control over this shit.
And that's hard. That's hard to say. Maybe it is The Rock pulling all the strings, but I don't know, man. It's that promo. That it was a good promo. Don't get me wrong. It was a great promo.
It was passable.
That you could do so much more. You could do so much more than you did. Not to say I would say for the promo it was a master class in a lot of shit. How to manipulate the crowd, how to take them on a roller coaster ride through the promo, pointing shit out, he gaslit the fuck out that crowd. But I wanted this somewhere else. It needed to go somewhere else. Not to say that it was a bad promo for me, and what we've been getting and what we need to get to, which is him versus Cody at Mania. I don't know if I'm invested as I need to be in this match, because you have a monster match.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get me there, but fuck, man, it's something that I want to be really excited about. I don't know if I'm there yet.
I'm not there either, because Cena. Another thing that kind of hurt it to me, and the fans in Belgium are great. The thing that hurt me though was this is a promo that Cena should have done in the States, because this is where 99% of the time,
bro, you should have let loose on these. You should have had this shit in like Jersey.
Yeah.
Like where people would just boo the fuck out of you for just lighting it, and just let him go out there and light into that. Because let's be honest, let's take a real mirror to the wrestling audience. American fans fucking suck. Belgium proved this. They proved
give the American fans something to be excited about, and they'll react to it. We saw this all the time. We saw this all the time during the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
we saw this all the time. The fans will react. You hear that glass break, they react. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, they react. You hear no chance in hell, asshole. You know, people react. You give people something to react to, and they will react. It's not so much that like American wrestling fans suck. It's just give them something to react to. Don't give them if you have a match that's just a damn spot fest. Okay, that's another spot fest that I've seen 100 times. Give me something new. Give me something crazy. Give me a story that I'm going to sink my seat into. Give me something to react to. If Johnson had been here, that reaction would have been 10 times fold, because you actually have a lot of those C Nation kids here.
That's why I said put that promo in front of an American audience. They would have felt it.
Yeah,
they'd have felt it. And but what I'm saying is. Put Cena in front of that audience and tell them about themselves, and it would have went over. It would have went over extremely well.
I agree. I mean, we can only see what they're going to be back at it this Monday on Raw, so they're going to be face to face, him and Cody again.
This one's overseas too. They're overseas until the week before Mania.
Yeah, so they're going to have another go at it here. So we'll see how this.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I actually like these early shows.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I was like, shit, 7 o'clock. I ain't gotta do shit. I'm with it.
Right.
I liked it. I was watching Raw, done with work. I can go on about the rest of my fucking day. I was like, all right.
I mean, there was only one thing to watch on Raw, anyways. It was that fucking promo. Just keep it 1,000.
100.
That's all I was interested in, was the damn promo. Like the rest of, the New Day wasn't even on the damn show.
True.
Oh, by the way, fire ass track. They finally released the New Day music on the.
Oh
music channel. Dope ass track.
Yeah,
I actually like it better than the original. Just something about it.
What's up, Makk? Makk said you weren't looking forward to Jay.
Nah, I can't say what I was, man. Can't say what I was.
Speaking of Jay, let's jump into it. You said something to me earlier this week that really hit me and made me think.
Oh, I'm glad I did it for you.
You asked me, did I think Jey Uso had peaked?
Yeah.
I couldn't answer you because I was like, it's hard to say he has, because if you look at the merch, his merch is selling. That's like
Cena sold a lot of merch too.
Cena did. He did.
But did they grow the business?
No. And that's where I am with it. maybe he has peaked. And it's tough to say this, but out of everything in WrestleMania, I'm not sold on that match for him and Gunther. I'm actually right now of the belief that he's not going to win that match.
You would
And
totally,
it will be forgettable.
you know, you would totally just kind of screw him at this point. And listen, here's what I think about this. I think that the only reason why, listen, you can think what you want to. I'll fight anybody on this because this is my belief. I think that the only reason they gave that to Jey Uso was because he was over with the Yeet, and that's the only reason they gave it to him. I think the entire plan was always for John Cena to win at Elimination Chamber, and they had to get somebody at the Rumble, and they gave it to Jey Uso. I strongly believe that, and I think where they mess up with that is Jey Uso and Gunther Saturday Night's Main Event. Him beat Jey Uso clean. That's where they screwed it up. If Jey had not, if they had not done that match, and they just would have had a straight up match for WrestleMania, that would be cool. But Gunther has been the one that's been leading this program pretty much week after week after week. And Jey is just, okay, Jey Uso, and I'm a Jey Uso fan, but Jey Uso yeets, and then the bell rings. And there's nothing there. Like what it's like the brother has regressed in the ring or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. Like he's regressing, and it's like I don't like to see that. I think they put a lot of pressure on him for this shit, just like they put a lot of pressure on Eddie Guerrero when he was a champion, because back then they went by the houses.
Right.
Eddie felt a lot of pressure listening to different people. He had a lot of pressure about the houses being down because it fell on him.
Yeah.
So I think they put a lot of unfortunate pressure on Jey Uso to deliver when the show's already bought. But I think another issue they have right now too is the lack of ticket sales for WrestleMania this time around. Like
that's because WrestleMania is fucking expensive, bro.
We know this. We know this. So it's really not selling like they thought it would be, especially in Las Vegas. They thought, and then $25,000, lunch with John Cena, $8,000, I think it was a lunch or dinner or some shit with Triple H and Lex Luger. Like, you're obviously showing that you are not catering to the middle class. You're catering to the elites, because normal mofos don't have $25,000 to go spend with John Cena.
Hell no.
You ain't got that unless you want to do some Make-A-Wish Foundation shit. You ain't doing it.
No.
So I think they've outpriced themselves, and I think that's why a lot of people are not feeling WrestleMania this year like you would think they would. I honestly think the 2-night thing is hurting them, because people are just saying, "Oh, I'm going to look forward to WrestleMania night 2. I don't give a shit about night 1."
That's true too. That's true, because a 2-night ticket is like, for the nosebleeds, it's like $1,500.
They're crazy.
For the nosebleeds.
There ain't no way in hell that I'm spending all that money for some fucking wrestling. I'm just keeping 1,000. That ain't gonna happen. Now, if it's Darth Vader and it's an auction and I get one of those touring costumes that Kermit Eller had back in the day, yeah, I'll fucking pull the money out for that shit. Hell yeah. But not for some fucking show. Fuck that.
Look, Max says, who would you rather see catch up with Gunther for the heavyweight belt?
See, that's the problem, bro. There is nobody.
Yeah.
They have nobody. They've used everybody up. They got this. This is a perfect. I'm about to bring this home right now. What this WrestleMania was reminding me of. And that WrestleMania was a throwaway WrestleMania 2. WrestleMania 2000.
Oh, that bad?
Bro. You remember how WrestleMania was all multi-man matches?
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting WrestleMania 2000 and WrestleMania 15 vibes right now, bro.
Damn.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting from this.
That's tough.
I'm sorry.
That's tough.
There's only one person. This is what this is right here to me. Okay, when Vince McMahon was running WWE, WrestleMania was a spectacular experience. It was the mecca of sports entertainment. What I'm getting here is the way Jim Crockett Promotions or WCW would promote Starrcade.
Right.
That's what I'm getting here. This is Starrcade here.
Right.
This is not WrestleMania. And that just shows you Vince McMahon knew how to promote the show. Vince McMahon knew how to get you there to this. And by the way, people thought that Vince McMahon was like done with TKO. Well, McMahon still owns the most shares in TKO.
Yep.
Think about that one. But
Yep.
yeah, Mac, the botch was real bad.
He's saying you calling the whole event a wash or just night one? There's a couple of matches.
Not the whole event. Not the whole
There's
event.
a couple matches to look forward to right now.
I can't call night. I look here. Here's the
night
thing,
two is going to be amazing.
I can't call it a wash. Period. I just know because I've seen every WrestleMania. I just know the vibes I'm getting, and I remember going into WrestleMania 2000. The main event of WrestleMania 2000 was Triple H defending the WWF Championship against The Rock, Big Show, and they brought Mick Foley back because Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't ready, and then they had a McMahon in every corner. That kind of shows right there. They didn't care about WrestleMania 16, 2000. They were worried about next year's WrestleMania 17, which was going to be in Houston at the Astrodome, which was Rock versus Stone Cold. That's the one they were caring about. And it happens from time to time. We don't know. I mean, they're talking about this one here, but they're probably thinking about next year's WrestleMania. Let's just get through this one because there's no reason to me why you would have three of your top stars, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, in a triple threat match. When the obvious story should have been CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, or CM Punk versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in the favor.
Yep. There's so many ways you could go. That you're right. There's so many ways you can go that it's confusing to why that's on the table.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's a waste.
Yeah,
that's a waste right there to me.
Yes, it's like, dude, you could have went Roman and The Rock. You still can in a way. It's just
you can't.
What you set up, like nothing makes sense. Even the women's shit, bro. Like it's like, why am I getting a triple threat with Rhea, Bianca, and Io Sky? Like, why is this on the table when we had Rhea versus Bianca on the table? Like, what is going on right now?
Because for some particular reason, they decided to insert Io Sky into a feud that she didn't need to be involved in.
And Io right now probably has the most sympathy out of anybody.
I didn't like that promo she cut with Michael Cole out there. I didn't like that whole thing. They basically told you when they were shoving her around and shit, dude, she's a third wheel. She's not existent in our issue.
Right.
She just happens to be the one with the championship. So how am I going to get invested in that? When I already know that she doesn't matter. She's the third wheel. Somebody has to take the bump. Or somebody has to take the fall here. Somebody has to take the loss. So we'll put her there because the real story is going to be Io and Bianca when Bianca finally turns heel.
Why are we protecting anybody right now?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I have
no That's not what Mania is for. It's really not.
I don't know. Like I said, they need Vince McMahon. They need to consult Vince McMahon on this shit.
But this is why I'm saying, like, it's hard for me to be, all right, let's go. I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready for Mania at this point. It's hard for me to be there, even with Cena versus Cody, because of how this thing has been built.
Look, bro,
it's been built weirdly.
It's the whole damn thing is weird. Just like the bloodline, all that shit that they did, all that building they did, and nothing. Like, it's nothing now.
The payoff was crazy. The payoff. The ending was crazy.
Ending of the story was good. Ending of the story was crazy. Okay, Roman gets the Umapower back, and that's it. Okay, now you got these guys out here floundering around and shit. Like, there's nothing there, and that kind of reminds me of how the NWO didn't have a proper ending to the story, or the
Yeah.
ending sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot. It's a lot of parallels here. I'm noticing here
And it's
between
like
the
I
groups.
knew when I saw The Rock put the Ulafala on Roman, Rock looked legit pissed, bro. Like he was like, "This is it." Fuck.
Shouldn't end it that way.
Shouldn't have.
There could have been. There was so much more mileage to get out of the bloodline,
Bro, you had too
and
much
they didn't do
juice
it.
left in the orange to just throw it away. You think they messed up by letting EO win the belt from? Yeah, hell yeah,
Hell yeah,
bro.
dude.
Bro, you have a banger on the table with Bianca and Rhea.
Yep.
And it's a match a lot of people have been clamoring for. So to take that match off the table and give us a triple threat match, it's like, why? Why would you do
She's
that?
not even, and she's not. And the thing about it too is like, so Rhea Ripley was super over. Like a lot of people like
that too.
Rhea Ripley.
That
Io
too.
Sky is not over like that with the WWE Universe. She
No.
is not. So to take the championship off of her, it doesn't make any storyline sense because how long Rhea went at Liv Morgan to get it back.
Right.
Now you're pushing here. I mean, this story here is whatever. But then you look over at SmackDown and look what they're doing with Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's complete night, and they made Tiffany Stratton into like the biggest babyface, and haven't done anything to change her presentation. She just got over how she was. No different than Scott Hall. When Scott Hall turned babyface as Razor Ramon, he changed absolutely nothing about it. He just was a babyface. He just fought the heels.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I don't know, man.
We'll see what we'll see what they do it as we get closer to WrestleMania.
Bro, I don't have a lot of faith. I'm gonna be honest with you, because right now I expect the Bianca to be a heel.
Yeah,
Rhea to be the big baby face. I don't know who's who at this point.
I expected Bianca to be a heel. I expected Bianca to turn heel. Turn heel at Mania. Now all of a sudden, now the Street Profits are back to being baby faces.
You lost me. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll watch Mania. I'm actually going to Vegas.
Oh, of course we're gonna watch it. But like, of course, we're gonna watch the shit. But like, just not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Let's wrap this shit up. I know we got stuff to do. Let's wrap this up. Final shots and thoughts. All right, man. Good short show. Nothing too long, nothing too crazy. I actually did double duty, man. Shout out to MPX. They had a big event this past weekend. Destiny talked to Matt Andrews about it earlier, and I want to give a shout out to Demo Diamond, man. Like, put this guy on your fucking radar. Put this guy on your radar. If he's near your town, there's 4 names coming out of this event that people should really pay attention to. 1 is Demo Diamond. 2 is Brick Savage. 3, Kari Wright, who's been on the show, so it's Demo. And 4 is Exodus Prime. These 4 people, phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. And they go around Texas. I know Brick, they go around, and I know they go to San Antonio, Austin, Waco, but they hop around Texas. Please do yourself a favor. If they're I'll let you know when they come down to San Antonio, because very much put on clinics. The stories they've been telling with Metroplex Wrestling, like I'm starting to recommend this shit, bro. Like no bullshit. The build that they have from their event in January, Texas Rumble, up until Destiny felt like WrestleMania, bro. I'm not even bullshitting. The
Yeah.
stories that they had coming out of this shit, insanely good. And they're working towards an event called The Purge. It's kind of like their not one night stand, but what's that extreme pay-per-view they had in WWE? Extreme Rules.
It rules.
It's like that. And bro, I'm telling you, MPX, they do weekly shows. They're really good, man. So I advise if you're listening, please give them a shout. Check them out. They've been really good to No Gimmicks, with working with No Gimmicks. So I want to make sure that I'm good to them. Please go give them your time. Check them out. Very much, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean,
Always
there's
good shit.
those are the stars of tomorrow that you can
Yep.
see today.
Yep.
That's just how that's the way the business goes, man. Like I've seen a lot of different indie shows that actually put on better quality shows than main roster shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just what it is. I mean, there's a reason why, Triple H, they wanted to do this Next in Line program and
Yeah.
all that because they already know out there. They tried years ago to go out of the independents and not go to independent wrestling anymore. Now they're back doing that
jumping
because they
in.
realize this is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so you support your Metroplex Wrestling, you support your Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, which is the NWA affiliate.
Yep.
Support your indies, man. That's where it's at. Give these guys up there your time and money instead of spending, $30 for a T-shirt for somebody. Spend a couple dollars to go watch this indie show. Support this indie wrestler that's trying to make it. You feel me?
Yeah, very, very affordable, and it's. I've never had a bad time at their shows, bro. Never.
Yeah.
So, shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Once again, YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for getting the numbers up. Thank y'all for getting the viewers up. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Smoke Pit, DFPN on YouTube. USDN, shout out to them. United States Department of Nerds. Make sure you following them. Eat the Cake Anime is coming out with their own channel, but they have new episodes up. Follow them on the DFPN channel until they switch over. Just follow, man. It's been a lot of good stuff coming. We got the tabletop RPG coming back in April. So DFPN is cooking, man. We're cooking. Yeah. So it's been a good string of shows, man. What you got?
So basically, just remember out there to support your boys here on YouTube, the YouTube channel here of the No Gimmicks Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share it out. You know what I'm saying? And help us continue to grow our brand here on YouTube. We are trying to get those watch hours up so we're able to get monetized. We've put a lot of work into these shows and we put a lot of our time into it. So we feel that, we should be, getting something in return. We're not no shields and we're not no kiss asses. We keep it 1,000 at all times. And that's the way we would continue to do. You know what I'm saying? So help you boys out with that. Watch the show, stream it or whatever on Spotify and all your streaming apps out there, and just spread the word about No Gimmicks. And also don't forget D Vader Cosplay, DEE Vader Cosplay on Instagram is where you can follow your boy. Just did something the other day with Ghostface from Scream.
Nice.
So I got some more stuff planned for that. I would have did some more stuff with my Vader. I got some boots the other day. They actually arrived yesterday from Kyber Props, and I'm not happy about those at the moment. When you give somebody measurements and they don't follow the measurements, you can't zip the motherfuckers up. So, but that's being rectified. Other than that, listen, it's very important out there, people, to help control the pet population. Like, seriously, like no bullshit here. Like, you have no idea, especially in Texas. I find it very, very interesting. The amount of dead dogs I see on the highway is wild. And these are either dogs that have been dumped or dogs that get out, and because people are just fucking retarded. I'm just saying it like that. You're fucking retarded, and you have a dog and you don't know how to take care of it. You don't care for it. You just let it out all the time, and it gets out, and you don't care. Help control the pet population, have your pet spayed or neutered, and if you can't handle the responsibility of having a dog or a cat, don't fucking get it. And that's pretty much all I got, man.
Oh, man, that's it for me, man. I got nothing else. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We're almost at 90 episodes, bro.
That's a hell of an accomplishment. On our way to 100.
Almost
Long
400.
time coming, dude. Long
Hell
time
yeah,
coming.
bro. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, enjoy what you want to enjoy. Take care of each other. Peace.
And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmick. Yeah. And I know it's all business, all business, all business. We give them no gimmicks, gimmicks.